And therefore charging all to seize this opportunity to serve as an honor.
President Buhari optimistic of a better Nigeria with incoming cabinet as two-day retreat ends. Supreme Court strikes out PDP and its candidate Atiku's appeal at Presidential Tribunal Court. Kidnap kingpin linked to the killing of 3 police officers in Ibi, Taraba State, re-arrested. And Nigeria to benefit from $75 million US HIV control intervention. Hello, good evening. Glad you could join us for the Network News tonight. I am Joseph Johnson. Also reading with me is Obeyi Otobo Presai in Benin and Rukaya Umar Farouk in Kaduna. President Muhammadu Buhari says although the challenges bedeviling the country are significant, he has absolute confidence in the capacities and patriotic commitment of the ministers designate to not only deliver a better Nigeria, but also ensure a brighter future for all. This was at the closing of the 2 presidential retreats for the appointees, aimed at building a stronger platform for synergy and teamwork. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
These last 2 days have been very instructive for me personally.
Apart from knowing them better, the 2-day retreat provided the opportunity for the president to appreciate the perspectives of the ministers designate on the key strategic initiatives required towards driving the next level agenda. Critical enablers for accelerated economic growth in the country were also discussed, as well as measures for success.
Majority of our people are poor and are anxiously hoping for a better life. A Nigeria in which they do not have to worry about what they will eat, where they will live, or if they can afford to pay for their children's education or health care. Our responsibility as leaders of this great country is to meet these basic needs for our people.
President Muhammadu Buhari said although there are obvious successes to celebrate, including laying the foundation towards rebuilding Nigeria, the challenges ahead are still significant, saying, however, that in the past 2 days, solutions have been well researched and articulated. These include addressing insecurity, achieving macroeconomic stability, agriculture, food and energy security, critical infrastructure, industrialization, social inclusion, anti-corruption, as well as housing financing.
Public service is not easy work, and at times it can be thankless. I am therefore charging you all to seize this opportunity to serve as an honor, to give you our best to deliver on this mandate for a more prosperous Nigeria, not for some, but for all Nigerians. You will find that working purposefully will enable us to achieve quicker results, recognizing that 4 years is not a very long time.
Giving summary of the retreat and the key next steps, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, made public some of the agreements from what he called the 2 days of critical thinking and robust debate. Amongst them, consolidating the agricultural agenda for food security, increasing revenues, implementing measures to reduce leakages and drive cost optimization, investing in human capital development, facilitating investment in oil and gas, as well as resolving liquidity challenge in the power sector.
This work begins now. The people of Nigeria are looking to this administration for results, and they expect them quickly. I would like to reiterate that the federal government is committed to delivering on and implementing all agreed initiatives within the stipulated timelines. As ministers, it is your responsibility to take ownership over the success of these initiatives. You will be ultimately responsible for ensuring the initiatives agreed on during this retreat meet their defined KPIs.
The ministers designate are expected to be sworn in on Wednesday by President Muhammadu Buhari, after which they will be assigned portfolios. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the next level will not be a tea party, as dedication to the quest for economic prosperity for Nigeria and Nigerians will be the priority. Now, this is the submission of some ministers designate as the two-day presidential retreat ends. Mitari Ben reports.
The next level is full of expectations from millions of Nigerians. For 2 days, these ministers designate who will midwife the process have been incubating ideas and fine-tuning strategies.
I think without these retreats, we'll probably go in there shooting in the dark. This is a very useful induction, and I believe we have all the information we need right now to start. We need to work very hard day and night to make sure that Mr. President achieve the objective that he laid ahead of him.
We will not fail Mr. President or fail all Nigerians.
Also, this is a message to our friends, our relatives, and so many people out there that many of them will be disappointed. They should not think that a minister is about people just coming and giving out jobs and signing checks and giving out government money. They should realize that it's about procedures, it's about following laws and rules and regulations.
To lift 100 million people out of poverty will not be the result of prayers and of miracles. It has to be the outcome of meticulous planning and even more robust commitment to execute policies and programs.
The consensus is that a monitoring and evaluation framework will be instituted to track the performances of various ministries on key targets. With the conclusion of the presidential retreat, attention will shift to the inauguration of the cabinet and next, service delivery to the Nigerian populace. From the State House Conference Center, Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the replacements for heads of federal government agencies that were recently appointed as ministers. Senator Bashir Gabra Mohammed has been appointed Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. He replaces Sadia Umar Farouk. Dr. Chioma Ejikeme has been appointed Executive Secretary, Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, replacing Sharon Ikeazo, while Kashifu Inua Abdullahi is now Director General and CEO, National Information Technology Development Agency. For Executive Commissioner, that's Stakeholder Management, Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, President Buhari has forwarded Adeleke Adewolu's name to the Senate for confirmation as replacement for Sunday Akin Dari. The appointments take immediate effect. Let's turn to the judiciary now, because the Supreme Court has struck out an appeal by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, on the party's inability to reply the objection of the APC at the Presidential Election Petition Court. This appeal comes from APC's challenge of the competence of the PDP's petition at the tribunal. The five-man panel of Supreme Court justices, led by Justice Datijo Muhammad, ruled that Atiku's reply was filed out of time. Olabode Arewa reports.
The appeal was filed at the Apex Court by Atiku Abubakar and his party, the People's Democratic Party, to challenge the ruling of the Presidential Election Petition Court, which held that the petitioners did not file a response to an application by the All Progressives Congress. Counsel to the PDP, Eita Jegede, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, argued that Atiku Abubakar was still within the time frame. Counsel to President Muhammadu Buhari, Wale Olanipekun SCN, and Counsel to INEC, Ustaz Usman SCN, argued that granting Atiku's prayer was of no value since the presentation of evidence at the tribunal had closed. Adoption of final addresses by all the parties has been slated for Wednesday. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
In the meantime, election stakeholders have met in Abuja for the presentation of a report of the Monitoring and Evaluation Situation Room, which is a compilation of evidence materials for the 2019 presidential and senatorial elections by the Presidential Support Committee. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, in a message, says the All Progressives Congress is putting in place measures to improve the living conditions of Nigerians and boost infrastructural development in the country. Haman Jabani reports.
The general elections were held in Nigeria on February 23, 2019 to elect the president, vice president and members of the National Assembly. 6 months after the polls, findings from these elections have been handed over to the vice president by the Presidential Support Committee. The committee, which worked with the Directorate of Programs and Consultation, Office of Senior Special Assistant to the President on Political Matters, believes that the reports will assist the party in its court cases across the country.
At the time judgment is pronounced and the opposition party says this is not right, we'll have something to present and say by what we have presented, these are facts in the field across the states.
Vice President Osinbajo, who was represented, commended the group for the sacrifice and effort towards the growth of the party.
They will aid us in a better understanding of even why the elections came out the way it did. They will aid us in planning for the future.
Chairman of the committee says the document contains 70 pages of election report, 40 pages of pictorial and 30 pages of statistical evidence from all the states of the country, including Abuja. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
A bit on the legislature. The Conference of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly held in Lagos with a focus on how to attain financial autonomy by the legislative arm of government in states. Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Ahmed Idris Wase at the opening urged the speakers to save the local government system from imminent collapse. Babatunde Saiki reports.
The conference affords speakers the opportunity to discuss widely on legislative matters as it affects their respective states. It is also an opportunity to deliberate on issues bordering on financial autonomy and capacity building. The Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Wase, emphasized the need for skillful display of intellectual inputs, which he said requires acquisition of knowledge through training, workshops and retreats.
The local government is the most crucial tier of government, and I believe together we'll put our hands together on deck to ensure we'll take them out of the shackles.
Chairman, Conference of Speakers, represented by the Speaker, Taraba State House of Assembly, appealed to relevant authorities in government to effect implementation of the financial autonomy of the legislature, which the President had already assented to.
The one we know is the one signed by Mr. President, and that's the one that is being recognized by the Constitution. Ours is to see that, to ensure that this provision is being implemented.
If they are not well equipped, if they are lacking in capacity on how to make law, on most of these fundamental issues, we won't be able to realize any good governance in Nigeria.
It gives us leverage to act independently.
More than 25 speakers attended the roundtable conference. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Talking security matters now, the operatives of the Nigeria police have rearrested the notorious kidnap kingpin Hajj Hamisu Bala Wadumi. He was rearrested in the late hours of Monday, August 19, 2019 in Kano State. The police had been on a manhunt for the suspect, Alhaji Hamisu Bala Wadumi, since August 6, 2019, following the unfortunate incident in Ibi, Taraba State, which resulted in the brutal murder of 3 police officers, 2 civilians, and injury to 5 others. The suspect, who was appropriately restrained at the time of the incident, was subsequently released by his rescuers after they had destroyed the restraining handcuffs. A statement by the force public relations officer, DCP Frank Ba, says the Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Adamu, while commending the police operatives for their perseverance and painstaking efforts, expresses profound gratitude to all Nigerians for their unparalleled show of love and empathy to the force, the families of the officers and patriotic civilians who paid the supreme price in the service of their fatherland. It is his belief that the rearrest of the suspect will no doubt help in bringing answers to the numerous but hitherto unanswered questions touching on the incident and the larger criminal enterprise of the suspect. This is Network News on NTA. Time for a break. When we return, good news for the health sector. Stay with us.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
Now introducing the new Mentos 2-share candy with 2 flavors in 1 pack.
Share a Mentos, make a friend. Stick together till the end. Share a Mentos, socialize. Share Mentos and be nice.
Mentos candy. Crunchy outside, chewy inside.
Some fun. Who says no to Mentos?
At only 7, she made her stunning appearance as a child star in Nollywood, groomed by her mother, who is a professional actress, a woman with a courage of conviction about what she wanted for her daughter. The child star, in 10 years, will emerge a rising superstar in Nigeria's motion picture industry. Regina Daniels is a Nollywood star in the eye of time. With the unflinching support of her mother, Rita Daniels, she set up the Regina Daniels Development and Charity Foundation, organizing free skill acquisition and empowerment programs for young people and offering scholarship to children on the sidewalk of life. Today, Regina Daniels is joining hands with a diligent mother to champion the cause of children and education in Delta State. And Regina says her life is about charity and offering hope to those frail children without a voice and perhaps without a chance. For many Deltans, this rising star is writing a new chapter in the storybook of world children. Regina Daniels Foundation is good news.
Tell you what, when will the new meters come? Because we are tired of estimated billing. Good news, my people. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has come up with the new meter asset provider regulations called the MAP. Nigeria MAP.
It is to ensure provision of meters, eliminate estimated billing, and ensure electricity customers only pay for energy they consume.
Yes.
Just go to your local electricity distribution center and request for your new meters.
Because the new meter is reliable and cheaper to reach.
This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Keep your white fabrics glowing whiter, your home sparkling and free from germs with Hypo. Make a dazzling impression every time and let your white speak for you.
My wife. Any other wife is a counterfeit. Oh, Mama.
Hypo. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Now available in lime breed.
You're still watching NTN Network News with me, Joseph Johnson in Abuja. Let's get on with the good news in the health sector now. The U.S. President's emergency plan for AIDS relief, PEPFAR, administered by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, is implementing an antiretroviral treatment search program in Rivers State for approximately 180,000 people living with HIV who have not previously received such. Ambassador Stuart Symington led a U.S. delegation on a courtesy visit to Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike in Port Harcourt to highlight the U.S. government's $75 million budget increase for HIV control activities in Nigeria, with about $25 million allocated for the antiretroviral treatment search activities. The initiative is to advocate the elimination of user fees for rural people living with HIV, antenatal care charges for pregnant women living with the virus, and other barriers hindering people living with HIV from accessing health services in order to live a normal and healthy life. And 2 new HIV 1 and 2 rapid test kits have been evaluated and recommended to be among the first-line test kits for use in Nigeria. These bring the number of rapid test kits already available to 5. Chimdi Mandubisi tells us more.
Time was when many unvalidated HIV rapid test kits were reported to be all over the country, a situation believed to have resulted in misdiagnosis. To ensure standard and accurate HIV diagnosis, the Ministry of Health instituted an appropriate process for evaluating HIV rapid test kits before public use, in line with World Health Organization standard. Now, 2 new HIV rapid test kits, one with the capacity to detect both HIV and syphilis, about to be made available, were evaluated using blood samples collected from the 6 geopolitical zones.
We ended up with well over 1,000 samples that we used so that we can represent all the strains of HIV that exist. The results of the evaluation shows that instant HIV 1 and 2 have specificity and sensitivity of 99.7% respectively, while instant multiplex HIV 1 and 2 syphilis antibody have sensitivity and sensitivities of 100% respectively.
The Ministry of Health sees introduction and availability of more rapid test kits as measures to increase self-testing. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
On another front, the Federal Ministry of Health has been presented with a certificate of compliance for the rehabilitation and equipment supply at its teaching hospitals. The outline business case certificate was presented to the ministry by the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission. Olabode Arewa reports.
Congratulations. That was the Director General of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Dr. Chidi Zua, presented the certificate to the ministry officials. The federal government in 2015 embarked on the modernization and phase-by-phase upgrade of federal teaching hospitals to improve healthcare delivery. Despite policy of funds at the disposal of government, 14 federal teaching hospitals have so far been rehabilitated and validated for use.
I want to assure this commission that the ministry will take all the necessary steps to see to the actualization of this particular project.
So it will reduce medical tourism, conserve foreign resources, improve access to healthcare, build the capacity of our teaching hospitals. And you know that the teaching hospitals are the tertiary level of our healthcare system. The third phase of the project will be 100% financed by the private sector. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
To other news now, one person has been confirmed dead and several houses destroyed in the wake of the flood disaster that ravaged communities in Gombe State. A correspondent, Emmanuel Akila, reports that the victims are in urgent need of humanitarian services.
Malam Pati, a Nigerian, is resident in Urotale, a village of about 40 kilometers off Duku town, the headquarters of Duku local government area. His residential compound had no less than 10 houses, but when NTA News, in the convoy of Governor Mahmoud Ino Yahaya, visited him, no single apartment was still standing in the wake of the flood disaster that ravaged several communities in Duku and other local government areas. Just like many others, his wives and children are now taking refuge among the few houses that survived the wrath of the flood disaster in Urotale.
One life is lost. We have over 1,317 houses being destroyed by the flood, and over 70 farmlands are washed away. 700 farmlands are washed away.
Governor Mahmoud Ino Yahaya was informed of the predicament of Baba Party, and besides the personal instant cash donation the governor gave to the victims in the two local government areas, moved by sympathy, Ino Yahaya gave Baba Party a separate assistance.
In the immediate, we have arranged a state emergency management agency, and we've reported equally to NEMA to come to the aid of the people.
The flood washed away hundreds of hectares of farmlands with crops that were about to be harvested, and the Gombe Road in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila.
Humanitarian crisis resulting from insurgency, communal conflicts and other natural disasters have been posing threats to human existence. Global efforts nonetheless continues to proffer solutions to the growing challenge. Correspondent Ilyasu Ali Yakubu examines the yearly World Humanitarian Celebration that brings together experts to brainstorm on the way forward.
Nigeria, like the other parts of the world, has been faced with a series of humanitarian challenges that resulted in the death of many. The outbreak of insurgency and other forms of crisis subjected many to difficulties. A 10-year-old Mohammed Habib and his kid sister Zara are victims of displacement from insurgency in Bama, Borno State. These two, among other victims of insurgency, got out of Bama town without their parents. I appreciate this gesture. The good news is that the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, took charge of them on arrival in IDP camps. These humanitarian efforts, complemented by other humanitarian bodies, has led credence to the yearly celebration of Humanitarian Day celebration.
We need to come together. We need to partner with the various structures in place to be able to eradicate this humanitarian crisis.
I expect that fresh ideas and perspectives will emerge to chart a new course in delivery of humanitarian services in this country and beyond.
Experts are of the view that Nigeria must face headlong the growing threats of humanitarian crisis for better society. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Now, as part of measures to secure Nigeria's land and maritime borders, the Nigerian Customs Service and the Nigerian Immigration Service, in collaboration with the Armed Forces of Nigeria, as well as the Nigeria Police Force and other security and intelligence agencies, will be conducting a joint border security exercise, codenamed X-Swift Response. In a release by the Public Relations Officer, Comptroller General of Customs, Joseph Atta, the joint exercise is being coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor and will take place in 4 geopolitical zones, namely South, Southwest, South Central and Northwest rather. It is expected that the exercise will promote interagency cooperation and increase preparedness to address trans-border security challenges such as terrorism, armed banditry, smuggling, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, amongst others. The exercise will also involve the movement of personnel, vehicles and equipment within the affected parts of the country. Therefore, members of the public are enjoined not to panic, but continue to engage in their normal activities, as the overall objective of the exercise is to ensure a peaceful and secured country in the interest of national security. Nigeria's capacity in space-dependent technologies has been identified as a strength for boosting her economy base and addressing challenges of insecurity and cyber crimes. This is the opinion of technology experts at the 9th Space Conference in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports.
The 6 defendants are facing charges for the unlawful acts allegedly committed between August and October 2018 within Nigerian domain and the Gulf of Guinea. The 6 defendants pleaded not guilty. The defense counsels requested for motion of bail and were granted, except the 6 defendants, which is the vessel. Defense counsel to the vessel, Pablo Amaran, said the complainant was served the bail application with all the facts stating the reason, while the vessel, which is the 6th defendant, must not be released and granted bail after being arrested alongside other 5 defendants. The defense counsel also stated that due to the arrest, it has been bankrupt and that no product was found in the vessel during the arrest. He then urged the court to grant bail as they are ready to enter a bail bond. EFCC counsel Oluwakemi Yemi Makinde, on the other hand, said the commission has responded in their counter affidavit on the bail indicating facts behind their refusal for bail. EFCC counsel said that if the 6th defendant, which is the vessel, is granted bail, the evidence on the vessel might be tampered with or destroyed. Justice Owebo, however, adjourned the case till 29th of August for the rule of motion for bail in Lagos. Abolore Ogbara, NT News.
We're sorry about the mix-up there. That was actually a story from Abolore Ogbara on the EFCC arraigning naval officers and 5 others. More reactions trail Forex restriction for food importation. That's on Business News after this commercial break.
Is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent. But now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem soft gel.
Amatem soft gel.
Amatem soft gel makes treating malaria easy.
Daddy, when I had malaria in school, they gave me Amatem soft gel. It's soft and easy to swallow.
Amatem soft gel is a game changer.
Oh my God! Oh! The opponent is down only in round 1.
Amatem for soft gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol sure. Daddy is home. He must be germ-free. He needs to be Dettol sure. My clothes are so nice. We are Dettol sure.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol sure.
We are Dettol sure.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Let's get to business news now. Reactions trail Forex restriction on food items, just as the equities market witnessed a rally in the banking sector, with bank shares moving up. Let's join Amina Nujem on business news for details. Amina, do your thing.
Thank you, Joseph.
The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria has been in the news where he cleared the air on forex restriction for food imports. The move, the Apex Bank says, is to restrict forex for the importation of items that the country has the capacity to produce, stressing that the country's foreign reserves should not be wasted on importing such items. Well, economic watchers have been reacting to this development.
And there's no treaty that I'm aware of, WTO, ECOWAS, AFC, Continental, none of them that places obligation on central bank to fund import and export. It is none. So, and they have not said ban. They just said, I'm sorry, I haven't got it. So they have to find other ways of funding their import. It's just support that the president is giving. But the president went beyond that to say, I want to do something on the supply, on the demand side, and said, agencies of government, please, you have to patronize made in Nigeria.
And from the equities market, Tuesday saw the NSE All-Share Index reverse the positive trend that was recorded on Monday to close in the red. Investors lost 27.9 billion naira as the NSE All-Share Index dips 0.21% amid renewed sell pressures. The trading session closed at 27,058.62 basis point. Now, this is against a 27,115.89 basis points recorded on Monday. Its year-to-date return stands at 13.91%. 209 million shares were traded in 3,743 deals, valued at 3.236 billion naira, while market capitalization 13.816 trillion naira. Transco recorded the highest volume of trade with 43 million, Guarantee followed with 42 billion, and Zenith Bank. And that's it from the business desk. Joseph, back to you.
Thank you, Amina. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned Bola Labinjo, a naval officer, and 4 others alongside. Apologies for that. Let's just bring you another story at the moment. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has refuted allegation in some quarters that operatives of the commission raided the residence of former governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode. Statements by the acting head media and publicity of EFCC, Tony Orilade, says the EFCC did not raid Ambode's house. It is instructive that his administration, like other former governors, is under investigation since they no longer constitutionally enjoy immunity against prosecution. He explained that whatever the commission is presently doing with regards to the investigation is in line with its mandate and the rule of law. Orilade wants the public to know that their operations are covert and that their investigations are not based on comments from the social media. Let's take you to Benin now for some stories, and here is Obey.
Hello, Joseph. Thank you for joining us in Benin. Ondo State government has intensified its infrastructure expansion program with the flag-off of the reconstruction of Oda Akure Road to a dual carriageway. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, while signaling the commencement of work on the 8 kilometers road, said the government is committed to providing more basic facilities in every part of the state. Olajide Bello reports.
The road, which consists of 2.7 kilometer dual carriage and 5.3 kilometer single carriageway, has standard facilities including 1.5 kilometer walkway and street lights on both ways. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu says the road, when completed, will boost interconnectivity between Oda Road and other road network, which include Oba Oshupa Road to Ijoka via Idiagba Road to reduce hardship being experienced by residents and motorists plying the road.
We are delivering on new ones. We are saying that the time has come for a new lifestyle in Ondo State.
The paramount ruler of Akure Kingdom, Oba Alade Lucy Alade Toyibo, who was overwhelmed by the gesture, commended the governor for being prudent in using the state's resources. From Akure, Olajude Bello, NTA News.
Edo State government has distributed relief materials to victims of the recent flood disaster that affected 3 communities in Orion local government area of the state. Special advisor to the state governor, Yakubu Gowon, presented the items to the chairman of the council at Government House on behalf of the state governor for onward distribution to the victims. Goodluck Inaini reports.
The relief materials distributed include 20 bags of rice, 20 bags of beans, 20 gallons of red oil, 20 gallons of vegetable oil, and 105 bundles of roofing sheets, as well as 48 bags of nails. The gesture is in fulfillment of the state government's determination to providing succor to the victims of the affected communities in the local government.
A primary school was affected, Iyedo Primary School. That primary school has already been renovated on governor's approval. And there's a borehole that was affected. The solar system was blown off, and immediately a generator was equally provided.
Receiving the items on behalf of the victims, Chairman of Orion Local Government, Mr. Sylvester Okoro, described the gesture of the governor as commendable and assured the state government of judicious use of the items. The state government has assured victims of similar disaster across the state of government's attention. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
Let's now join Rukaya in Kaduna for more on floods.
Thank you, Obehi, and welcome to Kaduna. 4 persons have lost their lives as flood waters submerged a number of communities and about 12,000 hectares of farmland in Jigawa State. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports that the victims were forced to flee their homes and abandon their farmland as the state continues to experience torrential rains.
Worst hit areas by the flood include Auyo, Jahun, Ringim, and Niga local government areas. A total of 1,500 families have been rendered homeless, with colossal loss of property worth millions of naira, as confirmed by the State Emergency Management Agency. Narrating their ordeal, some of the victims described the incident as tragic and appealed for immediate intervention.
We are in trouble because all our houses will completely be damaged by this water.
The Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, had earlier visited the affected areas to ascertain the extent of destruction and directed the provision of relief assistance to cushion their hardship, stressing that government will engage experts and relevant stakeholders. More disturbing is the fact that more communities are prone to the phenomenon before cessation of the rainy season, as predicted by the National Meteorological Agency and Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency. To this end, advanced preparations have been put in place in synergy with stakeholders to mitigate the situation. From Duse, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
And Kaduna State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has concluded pre-judgment proceedings with the adoption of written addresses from parties to the matter. The report. The Governorship Election Petition Tribunal had on July 25th adjourned hearing after taking account of witnesses of all the 3 respondents in the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, and its candidates. At the resumed sitting, all parties were given fair hearing in presenting their written addresses. PDP governorship candidate Isa Ashirukodan seeks the tribunal to upturn the victory of Governor Nasir El-Rufai on the grounds of alleged election irregularities.
We await the judgment of the tribunal. Whatever it is, then we know what next step to take.
Meanwhile, the first and second respondent have prayed that the tribunal dismisses the petition on the grounds that the petitioners have not lived up to the standard expected of a petition.
We have been able to show the witnesses we called that the election was conducted in substantial conformity with the provisions of the 2010 Electoral Act.
We also have filed written addresses giving the tribunal reasons why we think we should be the people to win. And the petitioners have also filed their own written addresses giving the tribunal reason why they should win. So this is what was adopted.
The tribunal will fix the date for the judgment. And that's it from Kaduna. It's back to Joseph in Abuja for continuation of the network.
Rukaya from our Kaduna Network Center there. Nigerian engineering professionals have been challenged to fully domesticate engineering practice in Nigeria. This was at the 28th Engineering Assembly of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, held in Abuja. Justin Bemwe reports.
Engineering, the professionals here say, is the nexus of real development globally, and it will continue to be. In the light of this, Nigeria, they say, can therefore not remain aloof when the world is integrating and communities are fusing as a result of the power of engineering and technology. Being the 28th Engineering Assembly of COREN, with the focus on strategic alliance amongst engineering professionals for enhanced opportunities, it is coming with the renewed attention engineering practice is garnering at present in Nigeria, as exemplified by the proclamation of the Executive Order No. 5 and the amendment of the COREN Act. Stakeholders in the profession want a strategic deployment of these instruments to change the face of engineering practice in Nigeria for good.
The regulatory laws have been strengthened so engineering can be better practiced and enhanced in our society. We must put these laws, orders and regulations to use.
Nigeria engineers, whatever makes Dubai, the United States, England and Germany what it is today, and China as a nation that all of us run to, whether for medicine or for trade or for their luxury goods. What makes them what they are today is the capacity and the will and the resolve and determination of you engineers that they have there. Why can't you do the same for Nigeria?
With this call to ensure the achievement of strategic alliance among members of the engineering family, cooperation and coordination of designated responsibilities among professionals and even allied professionals, guided by ethics and standards, is now the watchword. In Abuja, Justin Bemwe, NTA News.
From engineering to telecommunications now, there are indications that consumers of telecommunications may soon enjoy access to seamless telecommunications services to boost their businesses and expectedly contribute to economic development. This is because some African telecommunications regulators are in Abuja deliberating on improved ways of safeguarding the interest of consumers.
There is no doubt that this is an era where advancement in information and communication technologies, ICTs, is fast changing the dynamics of economies globally. Expectedly, these telecoms regulators from across Africa are concerned about the effects of the technological changes on consumers. Chief of Staff, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Polycarp Shambo, delivering President Muhammadu Buhari's message at the conference organized by Nigerian Communications Commission, urged the regulators to also look at the bigger picture as an enabler of economic growth and development.
As you focus on deepening access to digital services in your respective countries, attention must be paid to how consumers are empowered to be protected from the antics of abusers of these technologies.
Policies such as guidelines, regulations, and other intervention mechanisms have been deliberately put in place to grow the telecom industry while empowering and protecting the consumer.
And so we have increasingly been ensuring that at the level of regulators within Africa, that we have common standards of service that consumers should experience.
With the theme Empowering the Telecom Consumer in an Era of Technological Evolution, the second edition of the Conference of African Telecom Regulators on Consumers Affairs, CATCO, many here believe will produce tangible proposals and policies for governments in Africa on enhancing telecom services.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has cautioned Nigerian pilgrims over violation of immigration laws as they await their return from Saudi Arabia. NACON Commissioner representing North-Northeast Danjuma Saliu gave the caution when he visited Bauchi State pilgrims in Makkah. Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad reports.
Now that the 2019 Hajj has formally ended and pilgrims await their turn to be airlifted back home, The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria is working round the clock with State Pilgrims Board towards ensuring that all Nigerian pilgrims return home without any abscondment. This is evident with the visit of NACON officials to Nigerian pilgrims in their accommodation in Mecca. National Commissioner representing Northeast Anjuma Salihu Usman led a team of NACOM officials to Bauchi State pilgrims.
Congratulate them on successful completion of their Hajj, and then we condole them because Bauchi lost 2 pilgrims. We talked to them about the program of our return journey to Nigeria. We told them that there's a policy on ground that which usually first in, first out.
They advise us to make sure that no pilgrims should abscond himself. The way we come is the way we are going to go back to our own country.
Pilgrims were, however, advised to take advantage of their stay in Mecca and pray for peace and progress in Nigeria. From Mecca, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
Well, let's quickly take you back to our earlier report in which we told you that Nigeria's capacity in space-dependent technologies has been identified as a strength for boosting her economy base and addressing challenges of insecurity and cyber crimes. This is the opinion of technology experts at the 9th Space Conference in Abuja. Olainka Ojo reports.
Nigeria as a nation within the equatorial belt, characterized by the ionization anomaly, is said to have a natural access to the equatorial orbit, which the country should take as an advantage. Those who know say it is feasible.
The cost of launch is lower to the cost of launching from the polar orbit.
Already, there is an international advocacy for collaboration towards exploration of the equatorial orbit. And experts here feel Nigeria should be a frontliner in the quest, just as other countries have taken advantage of the polar orbits.
If we domesticate our satellite technology in Nigeria, we'll be able to save capital flight instead of taking hard currencies out.
For a country like Nigeria, where we need a lot of revisiting of our satellites for information gathering, we need to make use of this equatorial orbit.
Experts like Umar Sani Abdullahi said, Nigeria has been in the space program for 20 years and has the capacity to actively harness space technology.
Even when there's little resources, we can be able to generate enough to do research.
Reviewing the budgetary system and procurement law to favor space science and technology, others here say can address cyber war and terrorism.
Use of implicitly programmed machines can fight against them.
With this new resolve, Umar Sani and other experts are optimistic that Nigeria's quest for optimum utilization of her space technology is on course. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Let's just take a few messages now. When we return, we'll bring you sports. Stay with us.
Community policing in the face of insecurity in Nigeria is the thrust this week on NTA Tuesday Live. The program every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. promises to be educative and incisive. Don't miss it.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. All visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Let's bring you sports now.